Well, welcome to the Unstoppable Freedom Podcast. I'm Jimmy Page. This is the format called Freedom Under Fire, the top 3 headlines you need to know about. Well, each Freedom Under Fire segment does 3 things. Number 1, it keeps you on top of the most important issues affecting your freedoms today. Number 2, it lets you know why it matters. And number 3, it tells you what you can do about it. So let's go. Here are the top 3 headlines for the 4th week of April 2023. Headline number 1. You can't make this blank up. Vermont Elementary School makes this update to its curriculum. Well, what's going on? Well, Founders Memorial School, a Vermont-based elementary school, recently announced that it would no longer use the terms male and female. Yep, you heard that right. They're no longer going to use the terms male and female when teaching 5th grade students about human reproduction and puberty. The principal sent a letter to families on April 20th, informing them of the shift toward gender-inclusive language in the curriculum. Well, in keeping with this policy, educators will now refer to people as, quote, persons who produce sperm instead of boys or males, and, quote, persons who produce eggs in place of girls or females. The Essex Westford School District oversees Founders Memorial School and is modifying educational materials to reflect these changes. This, I got to tell you, this is an exact representation of what diversity, equity, and inclusion does to the truth. This isn't a new, more inclusive approach that makes kids feel safe. It's a complete abandoning of the truth. And why does this matter? Well, the reason this matters is because every authoritarian state redefines words as a means of eliminating free speech and controlling people. If we accept this nonsense, the denial of biological facts, our government will criminalize free speech that violates their definitions. And in fact, as you know, this is indeed happening as we speak. When you send your kids to school, you expect that they are being taught the truth, that they're being taught the facts. But this has nothing to do with education. This is a forced indoctrination of the most impressionable minds into the lies of gender fluidity and the rejection of truth. So what can we do? What can we do about this? Well, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but pull your kids out of these schools that teach these radical ideologies. Parents, find out if your school is doing the same thing and find an alternative. With this current school year coming to a close, you've got a little bit of time to do your homework and find an alternative. But if you're going to keep your kids in these schools, you have to be active in flipping school board seats. You got to start working now to accumulate the facts about what's happening in your schools and run candidates who will return the schools to truthful education and reject ideological indoctrination. This is the number 1 issue facing America today, education. Okay, headline number 2. Appalling. Unearthed documents reveal how hospital pushes medical transitions on children. Now, of course, they've been denying this for months and months, that this is even happening. But now the truth is coming out. And Seattle Children's Hospital offers educational guides that encourage medical professionals to quickly offer cross-sex medical treatments, such as menstrual suppression and puberty blockers, to youth patients with gender identity issues. And at the same time, of course, the guides largely fail to mention mental health services and indicate that they're optional and must be sought through outside institutions. In fact, the hospital's gender clinic doesn't offer any long-term mental health therapy. The fact that even one hospital offers a, quote, fast track to puberty blockers and then permanent surgical procedures and doesn't address the underlying mental disorders is flat wrong and irresponsible. But this is happening in multiple children's hospitals across the country. Well, why does this matter? Because providing gender-affirming care by way of drugs and surgery to minors is simply legal child mutilation and abuse. We have got to be courageous and stand up for the truth and stand up to protect kids. Okay, headline number 3. Whistleblower tells Congress that government is delivering migrant children to human traffickers. Now, for most of us, this doesn't come as a surprise. But Health and Human Services whistleblower Tara Lee Rodas viewed firsthand what she testified is a sophisticated network of child migrant smuggling into forced labor and other forms of slavery. And now she's calling on Congress to act to crack down on the U.S. role in this network. And she says this: whether intentional or not, it could be argued that the U.S. government has become the middleman. That's right. She said the middleman in a large-scale, multi-billion-dollar child trafficking operation that is run by bad actors seeking to profit off the lives of children. Realizing that we're not offering children the American dream, but instead putting them into modern-day slavery was a terrible revelation, she said, adding that her life will never be the same after what she saw. In fact, she goes on to say that she thought she was helping place children in loving homes, but instead she discovered that children are being trafficked through a sophisticated network that begins with recruiting in their home country, smuggling at the U.S. border, and ends when it delivers a child to a sponsor. And some sponsors are criminals, sex traffickers, and criminal organizers. According to Customs and Border Protection stats, the number of unaccompanied alien children who arrive at the border has swelled from over 33,000 in 2020 to more than 146,000 in 2021, 152,000 in 2022, and so far this year, in 2023, there have been more than 70,000 children unaccompanied sent across the border. Over 70,000 so far this year. Well, why does all of this matter? Well, it matters because anyone who says that they want to close the border is called a racist. Of course, that's the number one play in the Marxist handbook, to silence good people. But the truth is that open borders lead to a massive influx of lethal drugs that kill American children, a massive influx of people dependent on the government, in other words, our tax dollars for survival, and a massive increase in violent crime. And finally, it results in a massive spike in child sex slavery and trafficking. Open borders create chaos, crime, and a humanitarian crisis, and it's completely preventable. We need to have honest conversations with our neighbors about what's going on and encourage people to vote for people that don't support open borders. The most important thing you can do is tell your neighbors. Tell them the truth about what's really happening at our open southern border. Tell them that children are being sex trafficked and destroyed. We need to wake up people with the truth so that we can unite against every single elected official or party that believes open borders are okay. They simply are not. Well, freedom is under fire every day, and now is the time to stand up and protect our liberties wherever they're under attack. I'm Jimmy Page, and this is the Unstoppable Freedom Podcast, Freedom Under Fire.